My dear brothers and sisters in the risen Lord Jesus Christ, the key message of today's reading is authority is service. Authority is meant for service both to God and mankind. The Lord, understanding His mission and that of His followers in terms of service, not as a way of imposing themselves on others, recognizing the Messiah. This message from Matthew's Gospel brings us an important profession of faith of the disciples in Peter's words. It is no accident that it takes place in Susairaja Philippi, namely in Gentile territory. With this subtle point, see also Matthew 8:27 wants to indicate the universal nature of the mission of Jesus, the Messiah. The Son of God has come to announce His Father's love for everyone, and in a special way for the poorest to all the nations of the world. To the first question that Jesus addresses to His people, who do people say that the Son of Man is? Matthew chapter 16 verse 13. They answer that the people think He is the prophet. Matthew chapter 16 verse 14. That's a fairly good answer. In fact, Jesus is situated in the great prophetic line of Israel, which is why He does not separate the love of God from the practice of righteousness. In the Sermon on the Mount, we read, "Strive first for the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." Matthew chapter 6, verse 13. Those who have heard and seen Jesus have understood something important in thinking of Jesus as a prophet. Those who have heard and seen Jesus have understood something important in thinking of Jesus as a prophet. But this is not enough. Jesus' second question is much more direct and blunder. But who do you say that I am? Matthew chapter 16 verse 15. The question is still valid now. Who is Jesus for us today? We might be surprised if we had the courage to answer. Is Christ really the dynamic and the demanding center of our lives? Or does our answer about His identity show an anemic affirmation without any impact on our daily lives? Peter's answer was not a mere formula, that is, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Matthew chapter 16 verse 15. It requires a context rooted in the decision to follow the Lord's footsteps in terms of His love for the marginalized and the insignificant people of history, and in terms of His service to the neediest. Servant and apostle. The authority that Jesus gives to Peter is situated in that context, the context of the Son of God who lays down His life for others. It is not a power to dominate but to serve. Peter understands that, and thus he refers to himself as a servant and apostle, 2 Peter 1:1. And he advises everyone to serve one another with whatever gift each of us has received, 1 Peter 4 verse 10. The context from Isaiah 22:20-23 makes the same appeal to us. In giving authority to Eliakim, the Lord asked him to be a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Isaiah 22 verse 21. According to the Old Testament, a ruler's mission is to establish righteousness and peace. like a loving father who wants his children to live. It is only in that context that it makes sense for the Lord to give him the key of the house of David, Isaiah 22:22. This is the will of the one whose judgments are unsearchable and whose ways are inscrutable. Romans chapter 11, verse 33. Every Christian has its source in the contemplation of God's mystery. Therefore, let all of us pray for this intention during this Eucharistic sacrifice, and thus the homily is ended. May God bless you all.